So Rishi Sunak's about to become Prime Minister. It's great for diversity. Are you excited?
Oh, yes. I am ecstatic. Yeah.
Right, I mean, you don't
Well,
see
he's
that.
a privately educated Oxbridge millionaire who's reached the top. It's inspiring stuff.
Right, well, that's a pretty glib and downbeat
Well,
way of...
okay, all right. Let's row that back a little bit, because he did marry into that sack of cash, didn't he? So, and now he's a billionaire now. So he's the first literal billionaire to become prime minister. That's diversity, isn't it?
Right.
That's
well,
diverse too.
I suppose so.
We should celebrate that. Do you have any party poppers on you?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. So let's talk about why Sunak will be just as shit as Truss and Johnson and May and Right. It's not about who leads the party. Like, don't get sidetracked by the sort of scapegoatery. It's not who is heading up the Conservative Party that is the problem. It is the entire, machinations. This is how it works, right? You've got CCHQ, Conservative Party headquarters, right? And they will require funding. And they'll get that funding from, a buffet of, billionaires and corporations and shady oligarchs. These people don't donate to the Conservative Party out of the goodness of their fucking hearts. They donate ostensibly to buy policy. Now, if you get someone like Sunak in number 10, he could have the best will in the world. He could be the nicest guy. He could be that one privately educated public service Tory who's just got a heart of gold. He actually possesses empathy. But as soon as he gets in number 10, he's going to be bent over a desk too by the donors, and he will have to make compromises. He will have to go, yeah, look, I know I said I was going to make sure that this, blah, 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 but actually, the fucking donors, they will compromise. And because they don't want to embarrass the donors or expose the donors to The Guardian or The Mirror doing an embarrassing news story on them, Sunak will also have secret meetings and have shady deals. And then that will blow up and that will become a new scandal.
Sunak told he needs to get a grip.
Oh, wow, guys. We're there already. I remember when these headlines first came out for, Theresa May. Do you remember that? May hauled in front of the 22 committee. And then with Boris Johnson, there was 15 or 20 times similar thing, Johnson told he needs to get a grip, because he was so fucking haphazard and clumsy and just didn't give a fuck and kept messing up. Oh, you better get a grip of this, Boris. And there was Liz Truss's gallivant through the fields of tomfuckery and similar headlines for her. Oh, Truss better get a grip of this fast. Now where are we? We've got Rishi Sunak. He's been Prime Minister for 6 weeks. And what's the headline?
Rishi told he needs to get a grip.
How long is it going to take the Conservative Party to realise that it's not the lead character that they're casting in this movie that's the problem? It's the whole fucking movie that stinks. The Tories seem to be comprised of two tribes, two parties within a party, if you like. On the one hand, you've got the silver spoon, Etonian, self-serving, sociopathic cunts.
Spoiler alert, they're not there to help you or improve the country in any way, really.
And the second tribe is this sort of, Essexy or Red Wall, your Mark Francois, your Ben Bradleys, the sort of low IQ, ideological, Daily Mail reading cretins who believe anything the first tribe tells them.
Don't worry, Mark. Once we make a success of Brexit, all your constituents will love you and they'll wave flags around you and they'll celebrate you and everything.
And then he'll be like, oh, that sounds great. Thank you, Jacob Rees-Mogg. I was wondering, could I join you and all of your friends for dinner over there?
No. Rishi's New Year message of hope. Good times are coming.
Hang on a second. Wait, wasn't his whole thing yesterday?
Your problems are not going anywhere this coming year.
I could see you guys are really getting into the collapse of the NHS, the explosion of food banks, the spiralling cost of energy, your mortgage is doubling. So I'm just here to ask you, more of the same, lads? Now, presumably, some failed PR consultant that works in CCHQ has pulled him aside whoa, hang on a second, Rishi. You're coming off a little bit Grim Reaper here. You're a bit of a, bringer of death and despair. You need to give people hope. This is Britain. We like baseless optimism at all times, especially from the Express. Do you guys remember this shit? Coming soon! Brexit's big wins for Britain! And that was after Brexit benefits just around the corner. A lot of people say Brexit's become a sort of new religion, you know? In the sense that it's ideological. You're either for or against it. You're good or evil. It's caked in Tory doctrine. And nowhere is that more evident than conservative rhetoric that's funneled through tabloid headlines. Can we still count on your vote? 'Cause Christ is coming. It's just around the corner. Well, I suppose I better put some money in the tray, because he could come back any day now. Brexit benefits are just around the corner. Good times are ahead. Stick with us. You just got to stick with the Conservatives. Meanwhile, the effects of supporting conservatism are clear and all around us. You can't get an appointment with your GP, the schools are all overcrowded, entire industries are striking, and the only people who have seen wage growth over the last 12 years are the same companies and billionaires who continue to donate to the Conservative Party. So whenever you see a headline like this through a glorified CCHQ staff newsletter, you should ask yourself two questions. Number one, good times are coming. Christ is coming. Stick with us. Like, does this sound a bit gaudy? Like, motherfuck your doctrine. Give me stats and facts and numbers. Tell me how you're gonna fix shit. And number two, you read it like, good times are coming. You should be like, for who? Sunak holding NHS crisis meeting at number 10. Why? When he said there's no crisis. This was 2 days ago. Scottish NHS is in crisis, but we won't say the same for England. This was 3 days ago. The Prime Minister refuses to say the health service is in crisis. You know what would be fun, right? Not that anybody would ask him this, but somebody in the press lobby should say, okay, so when you said it wasn't in crisis on Wednesday, but now you're holding a crisis meeting, were you lying then? Or has the crisis just started in the last 3 days? And if it wasn't in a crisis 3 days ago, what constitutes a crisis that has started now that wasn't present 3 days ago? And if it was in crisis 3 days ago, but you said that it wasn't, were you lying, or did you just not understand, or did your health secretary not understand? Where does the blame lie? Out of touch, Rishi Sunak gives $3 million to US college as UK schools can't afford basics. Well, this is an unfortunate story for the non-domicile, I don't have working class friends, let's continue to run emphasis in Russia despite all the sanctions power couple who appear to have donated $3 million to Claremont McKenna in California. Now, there's a few of you saying, actually, Aid, this happened a few years ago. And that is true, but it still happened while Sunak was an MP and while his wife was non-dom, meaning that money that should have been collected and found its way into the UK Exchequer and been allocated to the British education system was then avoided. And it's empowered these two motherfuckers to turn around to an already wealthy American college and go, yeah, just have 3 million more. You obviously need it. And this is while schools in his own constituency are so starved of funds, they're having to run charity days to raise $5,000 to replace 15-year-old PCs. And to me, this kind of gets to the heart, the core of what Rishi Sunak actually is. Like, he's not a patriot. He's not even really a Brit. I mean, wait, no, I didn't mean like that. Like, obviously he is British. I just mean he's part of an international class, a sort of alternative citizen of nowhere. He's part of the sort of MBA Harvard set who manoeuvre through the UK private school and US college circuit, you know? A bit of investment banking in London, a bit of big tech in San Fran, speaking gigs, gala dinners. As the Tories infamously described some of those on the lowest rungs of the socio-economic ladder as citizens of nowhere. But ironically, they can inhabit a similar space themselves as sort of plastic patriots who jerk off over the flag. They say all the right things, but these are patriots for whom their Britishness or vision or investment in the country seems to grind to a halt the second they're offered the choice between giving a couple of million quid to a rich American school or a primary down the road. You know, like, do I put my money where my mouth is and invest in Britain? Or do I use it to lay the foundations of a lucrative post-parliamentary US college speaking tour? It's a tricky one. Like, they all talk the talk in the run-up to an election, don't they? With manifestos and panel appearances. Oh, we're going to increase the funding by 0.39% per pupil. But you're still hemorrhaging teachers. Schools are still so starved of funding, you've got teachers who can't host after-school clubs because they're due on at Tesco at 4 o'clock. And what do? Instead of actually fixing this shit, they donate to Winchester College, to American universities, they defend the tax-free status of the private school network. Honestly, fuck them all to Jupiter.